Sometimes the most exhausting part of the day is not the work, not the responsibilities, not even the problems. It is simply being around people. You sit in a room with others. Nothing dramatic is happening. No one is arguing. No one is upset. And yet, after an hour or two, you feel strangely drained. And the confusing part is this: nothing actually happened. You might start wondering if something is wrong with you. Why does everyone else seem fine? Why do some people leave social gatherings energized while you leave feeling heavier? So you try to fix it. You push yourself to be more outgoing, more cheerful, more present. You join conversations. You listen carefully. You smile when others speak. From the outside, everything looks completely normal. But inside, it slowly feels like your mind is running 100 small processes at once. Reading the room, interpreting tones, adjusting your responses, trying not to say the wrong thing. And after a while, even simple conversations start to feel like work. Because while others are simply talking, your mind is doing something else. It is quietly observing. It notices the small pauses between words, the subtle shift in someone's tone, the moment when someone laughs a little too quickly or a little too late. And most of the time, no one else seems to notice these things. But your mind does. Sometimes this becomes visible in the smallest moments. You might be sitting at a dinner table with several people talking at once. Someone tells a story and everyone laughs. The table fills with noise and easy conversation, but your attention drifts somewhere else. You notice the person who did not laugh. They smiled politely, but their eyes stayed quiet. A few minutes later, someone else begins speaking. The conversation moves on easily. Everyone seems relaxed. But part of your mind is still thinking about that small moment. Was something wrong? Did that person feel left out? Did the joke land badly? No one else in the room seems to notice. The conversation continues, but your mind stays behind for a moment, trying to understand something that no one actually said. And this is how the energy slowly disappears. Not through conflict, not through arguments, but through hundreds of tiny emotional questions passing quietly through your mind. And after a while, you begin to notice something strange. The conversation itself is not exhausting. What exhausts you is the awareness. There is an old story about a man who once chose to live near a waterfall. For many years, he had lived in a crowded town where the streets were always loud. So when he discovered a small house beside a wide mountain waterfall, he felt incredibly lucky. The sound of the water was powerful, endless. At first, he loved it. Every morning, the rushing water filled the valley. It felt alive. Visitors sometimes came and told him how beautiful the place was. How peaceful it must be to live here, they said. And for a while, he believed that too. But slowly, something began to change. Weeks passed, then months. The sound of the waterfall never stopped. Day and night. Even in the quiet hours before sunrise, the roar of the water was always there. At first, he tried to ignore it. Then he tried to get used to it. But eventually, he realized something strange. The waterfall itself was beautiful, but his mind never truly rested. So one day, he packed his things and moved to a quiet valley far away. Months later, a traveler found him there and asked him a question. Was the waterfall too loud? The man smiled gently. No, he said. The waterfall was not the problem. He paused and looked across the silent valley. I simply forgot how quiet the world can be. Modern social life is a little like that waterfall. It rarely stops. Voices fill every space. Conversations overlap. Opinions bounce around the room. Small emotional reactions travel from one person to another. Most of the time, none of this looks intense. People are just talking, laughing, sharing small pieces of their day. But beneath those simple moments, something more subtle is happening. Every conversation carries invisible emotional signals. Someone is looking for validation. Someone wants to be understood. Someone is trying to sound confident even though they are unsure. And most of the time, no one notices this. Except sometimes you do. You start noticing the small things. The hesitation in someone's voice. The pause before someone answers. The forced laugh that appears half a second too late. Nothing dramatic. But your mind quietly records it. And the strange part is, you never asked to notice these things. Yet once you see them, you cannot unsee them. So, while others are simply talking, your mind begins doing something else. It starts translating the room. What was said, what was meant, what someone might actually be feeling. And suddenly, a casual conversation turns into something more complex. Not because anyone is difficult, but because your mind is hearing more than just words. At some point, you realize something strange. The conversation itself is not exhausting. What exhausts you is the awareness. Because while others are only present in the conversation, your mind is also observing it. Almost like watching a movie while acting inside the scene at the same time. And that quiet, double awareness slowly consumes energy. So the exhaustion may not come from people themselves. It may come from the constant noise of social awareness. Some people experience social life mostly as interaction, talking, responding, sharing stories. But others experience it as observation. They feel the emotional atmosphere of a room. They notice tension before anyone speaks about it. They sense when someone feels left out or when someone is hiding frustration. Most of the time, no one asks them to carry this awareness, but they carry it anyway. Because once a mind learns to read emotional signals, it rarely turns that ability off. And this creates a quiet contradiction. You may genuinely enjoy people. You may care deeply about them. But at the same time, being around people can slowly drain you. Not because you dislike them, but because your mind is constantly listening beneath the surface. So one day you might suddenly understand something that once confused you. You were never tired of people. You were tired of hearing everything, the moods, the tension, the unspoken expectations, all the emotional noise moving quietly through the room. And once you see that something inside you softens, because the exhaustion finally makes sense. So, if being around people sometimes feels draining, it does not always mean you are antisocial. And it does not mean something is wrong with you. Sometimes it simply means your mind has been listening very carefully. And after listening to the world for a long time, the quiet of your own thoughts begins to feel like home. Not every tired mind needs more rest. Sometimes it simply needs a little more quiet.